We are about to see a video from a movie taken by the Boscobel Kiwanis Club in 1938 and 39, some 55 years ago. We are going to help identify some of the individuals and settings. It's up to you to verify and identify. Mathematically, many you see are gone. A 10-year-old is now 65, and so forth. We now see the Boscobel Bridge. This bridge was dedicated in 1937. From the quantity of water, this must be either in the fall or the early spring. John J. Blaine, Senator and Governor. This monument is on the north side of the bridge. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen it. Wisconsin River, right now, in 1993, that's right at the very edge of the banks. Oh, here is downtown Boscobel, 1938. There is the delivery truck for either the Sanitary Creamery or the Baumgartner Creamery. Notice there is Mr. Finlay. He's the street cleaner, and he did a terrific job. This is Old Glory at the Boscobel High School and the grade school. So we will see the Rock School shortly and the grade school. A beautiful building. There it is. A marvelous work of German architecture, masonry. This is the new grade school. Here we come, the youngsters, and I think we will see Kitty Sabins, the teacher of this group. Aren't they wonderful? They must be all dressed up for the occasion. I think they knew in advance that their picture was going to be taken. Nope. They are pretty young. Too young for me to... There's Kitty Sabins. I know Kitty Sabins. The straw-colored boys that we see coming down are the Lindley boys. You are going to have to identify these youngsters. Some of you probably are here. There's one of the Lindley boys with the straw-colored hair. And there's another of the Lindley boys. That was Bob Rice, the last boy, coming down the steps. We see two girls on the top steps. They are the Brown twins, sister to Betty Austin. Miss Nelson coming down, the teacher. One of these young men coming down here at the rear end of the group is Ted Freimiller, Dr. Freimiller's son. There are the Brown twins in close-up. Very attractive. At the Hubble girl on the right, the one on the left, I don't recall her name. Bonnie Austin on the left with this big smile. The Greween girl, R.C. Greween's daughter. That young man, there are two of our Emily Vapolinski-Jonash on the left. Erica Breckler. Mary Matthews, Emily Yonash, Selma Nelson, Stitzer, Frances Stitzer, Miss Matthews, I don't recall her first name, Zelma Nelson on the right, Kemeter, Matthews, Kitty Sabins in the background there next to the brick wall. Ah, there's Ernie Merrill, very popular football coach. Great personality. Recognize any of these people? That's Teddy Freimler on the right. That young fellow there's diminutive in size is Stuart Holf. Don Richardson. How are you doing with your identification? Are you identifying a lot of these young people? Do you see yourself? There's Carl Zimpel, Stuart Holf, Robert Nelson there on the right. I see we've got some of our lettermen there. Ralph Parrott. Ray Davis on the top steps, Frank Parnell on the left. Our teachers, Velma Allen there on the right. Miss Kemeter and Lawrence Olson, top step. Raymond Davis with a big thumb. Frank Parnell. Velma Allen on the left. Miss Kemeter on the right. Jim Parnell and Ray Davis. Lawrence Olson. There's Ray again. Bob Nelson there chewing gum. Don Richardson again. There's Stewie Holf with a little limp. Mr. Bender, caretaker and custodian of the school. And he did a good job of keeping the young people in line. When they walked on his grass, he collared them. They didn't do it the second time. Mr. Bender loved his garden. Raymond Eisfelder, he should be on his Palomino horse. Raymond was a good businessman in Boscobel. Ike Levy, popular movie operator. Mr. Huppenbecker has his back to us, and Mr. Parnell in the doorway. Leading citizens of Boscobel. Dr. Hurd, dentist. Must be cold there. Must be late fall here again. Jim O'Neill, the old oak tree sitting on its own private piece of land. Doesn't look quite as grand now as it did then. Murphy, he's a worker for Sanitary Creamery and also Baumgartner Creamery. The City Hall with the city clerk. I should know this gentleman, but I'm not sure. There's Jim Foley, the big gentleman there. We see Mr. Hubbard, depot agent, local depot agent. Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul. Our city alderman, Bill Wanacke, Mayor Hüppenbecker, Jim Kendall, Mr. Keller, Mr. Williamson, Carl Kroll, Bill Wanacke again, Bill O'Neill, attorney, Carl Kroll and Adam Keller returning backwards. Frank Kendall is receiving the load of mail for the city hall. Mayor Hippenbecker. Mr. Hoover and Jim Parnell. Mr. Hoover in his own popcorn wagon. He was a familiar figure at that time. Spire of St. John's Lutheran Church. Reverend Londick was a long-time minister there. There is Reverend Londick. He had two sons. Both went into the ministry, Herbert and Fred. Mr. McWilliams, apparently the carpenter in charge of the construction that's being done there. Pretty fast operator here. They know their job. Mr. McMillan, apparently chief carpenter and architect. Oh, we're going downtown Boscobel. Gamble store. The first individually owned gamble store in the nation by Jack Curry. That's Jack Curry, Merv Chalmer in the white shirt, helping load the delivery truck. Merv with his hands in his pocket. Soon to be another happy customer with their range. That's Merv Chalmer, make delivery. There's Merv and Jack Curry, the owner of the gamble store. City service. Owner Sheridan Lenz. Sheridan is going to give them the works. When they say full service, they mean full service. 5 gallons, $1. Now, that customer isn't going to go away without water and without oil, if Sheridan has anything to do about it. Another happy customer is on his way. Well, Sheridan's going to do a grease job. We don't have that problem these days with automobiles. A squirt of oil is about all they need. Sheridan also operated a repair service. This is a Burkhart, the gentleman who was operating the spray can. His wife was Olive Steinus. Tony Goddard Furniture. Used to be Muffley Furniture at one time, years ago. I wonder if they made any sales that they have to make a delivery. Oh, there's a happy customer. Oh, Marjorie Rust, taking home a rug. Fred Tony, one of the owners. Wilson Henry coming out, helping load. There's Roy Goddard, the other owner of the Tony and Goddard Furniture. Young Roger Goddard. Right, we just saw Nick Nice going by. There's Fred and Wilson Henry. Wilson Henry's a drayman. And the little lad that we saw a minute ago there is Roger Goddard and Nick Nice. Everybody knows Nick Nice. Nick Nice, I imagine, was a permanent fixture of Wilson Henry, his grandfather's trucking business. There's Nicky helping to load. Nick's riding in the back there, holding the furniture down. Fred Tony. Miles Tierney, postmaster. Jim Parnell. Fred Tony again. Roger Goddard. Oh, we're out in the country at the Birchwood Farm. Harold and Emma Tuffley, owners. Purebred Holstein and Belgian horses. They love their animals. One of their prized Belgian horses, beautiful animal. Harold, I'm sure, has shown these horses many times, and he knows a little bit the technique of showing, as you can see. This must be midsummer from the standpoint of the flies about. This one is a little not quite as easy to show. A junior model. One of Emma's dogs up on the wagon. Emma Tuffley was a very important part of the operation. The health of the animals were her priority. Quite a large number of animals there. There are some of their purebred Holsteins. Maybe we'll see some of the milk cows shortly. When they had a sale, their animals brought fancy prices. There are many years of good breeding in these animals. Imagine that animal there. There's Emma Tuffley with her two dogs. Emma loved her. Emma, you know, was responsible, and Harold, for the beginning of the Tuffley. There was Stella Spielberg. As I was saying, Emma and Harold Tuffley were responsible for the Tuffley Center in Boscobel. Taylor Lumber Company. Chuck Yon, manager. There must be some building going on. They're making a delivery. Looks like shingles. There's Chuck. And Miss Leon and Chuck Jr. All three important parts of the Taylor Lumber Company. Oh, this is the Jan home on Highway 61 or Aaron Street. Oh, a new building. That is the new Jack Curry residence in the process of being building. Oh, we're back out into the country again. The Black and White Dairy, Otto Salzgeber, owner. He too has a herd of very fine cows. There comes Johnny Salzgeber on his horse. Self-satisfied look on his face. John Salzgeber is still in the farming business, carrying on the tradition. Otto at the sterilizer, pulling out a pailful of the product, finished product. Cooling system, not quite the same as it is today. Semi-automatic bottling plant. Everything was in glass in those days. There's Otto loading up. They made house-to-house delivery. They also made a store delivery. What's going on here? There's a car driving up. A young man watching what's going on with hands in his pocket. There's Sheridan Lenz coming out to give service to the automobile. What's this? A masked man with a gun. A holdup. Sheridan. Oh, there's Ivan Johnson. He's running away. You think he's going to alert the police? Sheridan puts up his hands. He's not going to try to stop the holdup. The car is coming. I wonder what that portends. The holdup is looking for the wallet. He's foiled. Clarence Bowers, local policeman, has the would-be holdup on the ground. All he has to do now is find his handcuffs. Irv Richter there in the background. Irv has an accomplice, a woman. I wonder who that is. The two would-be holdups have been foiled. There's Irv on the left, Clarence Bowers on the right, Irv Richter on the left, Clarence Bowers on the right. I've been told that vicious woman is Irv Richter's wife. She isn't going to be manhandled by her husband. A very, very efficient police service. They've stopped the holdup. They have the culprits in hand. Now to the local caboose. They've got him under control, or have they? I'm not so sure about that. She's putting up a fight. Very self-satisfied police force. Big smiles on their faces. Clarence Bowers and Irv Richter. Unique Cafe with their new front. That was one of the most modern fronts at that time in Boscobel. Here's a Unique Cafe prior to the new front. We go backwards. Unique Cafe is no longer there. There's Bill Hall and Ruth Hall, owners of the Unique Cafe. Unique cafe area. There's Mrs. Ruddy. That's Ruth's mother, one of the waitresses. Ruth and Bill are going back in. Here comes Jim Foley. Oh, I was saying the Unique Cafe now is part of the World Variety store. It became part of the Schultz Brothers store. And the Unique Cafe is now on the corner in the Gassler building. Oh, we're back into the Sanitary Creamery. A patented product, Dairy Rich. The Sanitary Creamery then looked basically like it does now. Very little change. There is a change in the way they handle milk, however. It no longer comes in creamery cans. We see these big stainless steel trucks on the road. That's where the milk is now. A lot of labor involved in the dairy industry in those days. Bernard Moldrum, owner and operator. He's going to put the samples of milk in the Babcock tester, centrifugal tester. There's Bernard getting the ratio of fat to the content. Another cooling. There's the big butter churn. I wonder if that has changed very much. Probably not. The Golden Glory there. Bernard Moldrum says these wooden kegs were lined with paper and reused time and again. Lots of butter. Another cooling system. And another semi-automatic bottling apparatus. A lot of handwork in those days. This must be a display in the dairy. There's Bill Babel going to make a delivery. There were the two dairies, the Salisbury dairy and the Sanitary Creamery. Ernley Linland, bookkeeper for the Sanitary Creamery, there for many years. And I think she's a parish girl. Mr. Peterson with his one-horse delivery system. He delivered groceries around town. The Congregational Church. The minister at the Congregational Church at that time. Matilda Durant coming down the walk. Mr. and Mrs. Franke, retired Reverend Franke, retired minister. Erna Freimiller's parents were up in the Boscobel Cemetery visiting one of the early stone monuments. the Boscobel football team, coached by Ernie Merrill. I believe this was a winning team that year. Notice the equipment, not quite the same as it is today. The ability to run and pass hasn't changed that much. There's Dorothy Parnell with her little dog, Jim Parnell's daughter, and Matilda. This must be the day of the game. The Klingman girl doing some cheerleading there. She's the daughter of Mrs. Henry Achenbach, daughter from a previous marriage. There's the Klingman girl again at the head of the band. There's Ernie Merrill with his boys. A good-sized band. Their marching formations are good. Teresa Brainerd leading this group. Erica Brechter right there. Good formation. This area of the field is also the old fairgrounds, Boscobel Fairgrounds, and racetrack. Klingman girl again. She's doing a good job leading the bunch. That young woman with the trombone looked like the Bach girl, Cora Bach's daughter. That was one of the Steele boys. They come from the Steeles were a musical family. Beth Janice Colbars is having a little difficulty with her music. Wind is a problem there today. That looks like one of the Brown twins. That looks like another Brown twin there on the right here. Ernie Merrill is giving the boys the last instructions. Get in there and fight. We've been winning. We aren't going to lose today. Coach is an important part of a football team. spires of the Catholic Church, I think. You'll see shortly. Yes, I'm sure it is. Oh, must have church service today. Recognize some of these ladies? Where are the men? Oh, there's a few. There's Tilly. There's Rickley, Mrs. Bill Rickley, Mrs. Wanacke right there. Emma Swenson over there at the left I saw. Mrs. Kroll. Our altar boys. Do you recognize any of these boys? They had a large parochial school at that time. This is undoubtedly the school children as a group. Some of the sisters and teachers. 3. One before was 4. Pledge to the flag. Ring Around the Rosie. That's a game that I don't believe is played anymore. Very popular in those days. Somebody in the middle will soon make a selection. Very important to be selected. The teacher sisters part of the group. Oh, we're downtown Boscobel again, the Parker Hildebrand Company. This is the old barn back of the present World of Variety store now. Or not World of Variety, I should say the Thelma Jones, not operating it as a variety. The World of Varieties is in the Schultz Brothers store. Parker Hildebrands was a very complete store. Groceries. They purchased produce. Large clothing department. There is Phyllis Crawford, Elizabeth Scheinflug, Perry Bowers, the grocery manager. Perry Bowers, and Marv Russ Charm, I should say. There's George Shelley, he's the owner of the Parker Hildebrands at that time. Now we're back to the school. A gym class being put through their maneuvers. Ernie Merrill, I think, was in the Navy, and I think some of the maneuvers he incorporates in these school maneuvers that he had while he was in the Navy. You'll notice these young people are well disciplined. They go through these maneuvers very well. There's Ernie Merrill. The Hubble girl I noticed there with the curls. Some of you who are viewing this at this time probably recognize yourself in this group of young ladies. We're downtown Boscobel again. Rudy Cafe, popular restaurant. There's Jay Schoonover going in for his morning cup of coffee or cigar. I don't know. Oh, it must have been a cigar. What's going on now? It must be something special. Erica Breckler there on the left, licking good. You don't get free ice cream cones every day. Another bunch heard the good news. There's the two waitresses. And Rudy himself. Rudy also operated the Monument Works in town. There's Ed Austin. We're at the bulk Standard Oil Station. Red Bowmaster's loading up to make a delivery. Harold Red Bowmaster, I should say. Standard surface. I wonder if they give full service here. At least they get full, complete delivery service to fill their tanks by Red. We got business. That's Nort is at doing the polishing job here. They're giving him full service too. Everything from water to oil. 5 gallons for $1, I imagine. There's Red. We're at this corner drugstore, Rexall drugstore. Faye Kettner there at the left is the owner. There's Faye. Marie Duty, local beautician, admiring their window displays of vitamins for the fall season. There's Faye and the optician of the community. Ed Austin making a delivery. That's Bill O'Neill, the attorney. Kenny Keppel, Dutch Freimiller, and Vivian Oates. I wonder if she put in the window. Maybe she did. Now she's examining, see what kind of a job she did. There we are, Vivian again, and Faye Kettner. Vivian again, and Faye. Kenny Keppel, Ed Austin with the dog. Faye Kettner, popular pharmacist at that time. Now we're at the Royal Blue Store. Roy Johnson, owner. Boscobel Bakery is making a delivery. Rudy is getting curb service there for his restaurant. That's Roy Johnson's sister servicing him. Rudy says, charge it. And away he goes. Roy Johnson, and there's Fred Baumgartner, a delivery from the Baumgartner Creamery, I'm sure. Hugo Eisfelder, he's a jeweler there. I don't know that gentleman. Good-looking children. We should know them, shouldn't we? But I don't. Roy and his wife's sister again. Roy was I think, president of the Kiwanis Club at that particular time. There's Joe Durant, architect. They're checking up on somebody. What time, I suppose the other individual's supposed to be there at 12 o'clock. He's got 5 minutes. Do you think he'll make it? There he comes on the run. R.C. Greween. He's on time. Just check your watches. See for yourself. Look at the South Side's fad look on these people's faces. Each one sure they are right. Here we're back at the restaurant. This is Emma Knutsen's Cafe. There must be something going on here today. The boys are making an entry. Homemade ice cream, and I guess it was delicious. Cones. Do you think they had any money, or do you think they were free today? As Schmeck gut, Teddy Freimiller says. There's Johnny Salzgeber. Johnny Salzgeber again. Knutsen Cafe. Free coffee specials. Looks plenty good. Don't you wish you could have one of those? Another bunch going in. They've heard the good news. News travels fast, even in 1938 and 39. Oh, looks good, doesn't it? But some of them don't have any cones. They must have ran out of ice cream. That's one of the waitresses in the Knutsens. And the young man, I don't know his name, I should know, but I don't. There's Emma Knutsen that's enough of that, he says. We're back to the Boscobel Bakery. Homemade confection and popcorn. That's one of the Oswald girls filling up the popcorn bag. This is the Oswald girl. And here comes making delivery to one of the restaurants, I suppose, from the bakery. Lyle Ostrander, brother to Mrs. Linder. Boscobel Home Bakery. 2 or 3 happy customers with their morning refreshments. That, I think, is Bob Linder, the son of one of the owners, Bill Linder. He's missing a couple of teeth in the front, but he seems to be doing all right without them. Good to the last popcorn. That's Bill Linder's brother, partner, and employees there. Lyle Ostrander, Genevieve Ostrander, and that's one of the Linder boys. Bill, the proud father, fresh from Switzerland. The flags are out. I wonder why. Swenson and Semrad. Oh, I bet a new automobile is going to be displayed. There it is. Shined up to perfection. Swenson and Semrad. 1939 Chevrolet is now on display, it said. They're coming across the railroad track shortly, north to south on Wisconsin Avenue. There's the brakeman from from the St. Paul Railroad. One of these brakemen lost his teeth once in one of the restaurants, and they had to send his teeth. They had wrapped him in a napkin. They telegraphed back to the effect that he left his teeth there. They telegraphed back, and they've got his teeth on the next train. These cars are going right to left, from north to south, I should say, and on Wisconsin Avenue. Oh, there's a Swenson and Semrad, owners of Buick and Chevrolet garage. There's Charlie Semrad, George Agema, Harris Murley. Harris Murley was a bookkeeper. They have a large workforce. Charles Semrad. Now we've left the Swensons and we're to the Boscobel dial. Harlan Johnson, owner and editor. Ivan Johnson on the left. The gentleman on the right, I should know his name, but I don't. Harlan Johnson going in. Got to get to work, get the paper out. Jim Foley with his majored walk. He's not going to have a heart attack by overdoing. Jim Foley. Parker Hildebrand Memorial Library. There's librarian Marjorie Rust. The Boscobel came on a certificate charter certificate. Roy Johnson, Tom Berry with that little fellow. There's Jim Parnell. Tom Berry was a Ben Franklin store. Roy Johnson, Jim O'Neill, Bob Morrison. Bob Morrison's broke. He has all his money invested at the Boscobel State Bank, drawing interest, I'm sure. Bernard Molderman, Bob. Roy Johnson, Fay Kettner with Fred Toney, Bill O'Neill, Rickley and McDowell, tire repairing, another service station, back of the Mellor drugstore that we just saw shortly. It's no longer there. It's now city parking lot. I'm sure you get full service here too. There's Lloyd McDowell at the windshield. Charles McDowell at the pump. Charles McDowell. Lloyd McDowell. I imagine it's 5 gallons for $1 too. Cars got full service in those days. Now if you want your windshield washed, you wash it yourself. It kind of looks like Ike Levy, one of the purchasers, but I'm not sure. He needs oil. Bill Rickley we saw there too. Bill was one of the owners. There's Bill on the left, Charles in the center, Charles McDonald, and Lloyd on the right, Lloyd McDonald on the right. Claude Stevenson, hauler of cows, hogs, and bulls. There's Claude, sending out his man with a load, apparently. Hotel Boscobel, home of the Gideon Bible. Jim Foley there at the entrance. Adam Heller. Waitress. Now that might be a Murphy girl, later married Kenneth Youngs. She worked there at that time. Irv Simerson, I should say, the owner and operator, registering. He just got through registering a guest up in one of the rooms. I wonder if that's the Gideon room. There's J.C. Penney's, J. Schoonover, manager. They operated a good mercantile store a long time in Boscobel, very important part of the community. There's Harold Shipley in the Oshkosh by Gosh overhaul, one of them. They're doing a good job there. That isn't that easy to operate two in an overhaul. Man-size overhauls, Oshkosh by Gosh. Irene Kovars. They got out of the overhauls without any broken legs. Nice smile, J.C. Penney Company. The full force there of Blanche Richter, I see in the back. Harold Shipley, J. Schoonover, manager. Later operated the Schoonover floral shop, you know. A cute young man there, just able to walk with a little help.